Going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank, and once again, I need to make a video talking about this movie that's about to come out real soon. The Woman King. I mean, listen, what got me so amped and hyped about this movie, all right, is because our stories are finally being told with a big budget for the world to see, and it's being made by Black people, being made by Africans. These movies are being made by Africans. Now, for all of the people that like to practice xenophobia, say stuff like, oh, an African played Harriet Tubman or some crap like that, they don't take in consideration that most of the big budget African films that are iconic around the world have been played by British and African American actors who has brought light to the stories of our African brothers and sisters. Okay? And the thing is, everybody else gets their story told. And the thing that's missing from us, the thing that disconnects us, the thing that makes a Black American disassociate themselves with their own motherland, their own homeland, their own resources, their own people, is the lack of understanding of their story. I made a video the other day about name. They took our name and then they took our story. When you grew up, when you were going to school, all you heard was European stories. You heard about how the Europeans battled endlessly for hundreds of years in Europe, fighting, making Europe seem like it was the whole world. When Europe is, what, the size of Texas almost? A little bit bigger than Texas? The European world is very small, but they've made it in our psyche to where the European world is the entire world, and we're all just like extras in it, right? But the reality is Africa is the world. Africa has all the stories. Look how other races represent themselves. Look how Japanese are proud to be Japanese. Despite the things they have going on in their country, they have their own political and socio-economic issues and things like that. But look, when you see it, when a Japanese person, that lives in America, that's born in America, that's from America, but when you bring up Japan, they'll talk about it with pride. They'll talk about their history with pride. When you talk to a Chinese man, now China's messed up. China is totally messed up, but that still doesn't take away the pride that an American who's born in America but happen to be originate from China, it don't take away the pride they have in their history, in their culture, in the things they've accomplished. You see the Polynesians, they've been beat up probably more than us. The only people that got beat up more than Black Africans are goddamn Polynesians and Native Americans. The Mongoloid has been the most affected human being on the planet, because of the European. But you see them walking around talking about, oh, I'm not Japanese, I'm not Chinese, I ain't Polynesian, I ain't Hawaiian, I'm not Samoan. Oh, forget those people, I'm American. You don't hear that? They're proud of where they come from. Yes, they got, taken advantage of by the European, by their tricks, but that doesn't take away the pride because they know their story. And the one thing the European has been doing, they don't care about Japanese people and Chinese people and Polynesians caring about their story, because as far as they're concerned, they're insignificant when it comes to numbers and a threat to their power. But there's only one group of people on this planet. Are you listening to me? One group, not the Chinese, trust me, it ain't them. There's only one group of people on the planet that has the platform, the resources, the intelligence, and the strength to totally obliterate their power structure if we ever so choose to. And one good thing about these stories, these are not old stories. These are not ancient stories. These are stories that just happened. When I asked the question, when did we stop being African and become American? To some of these people that throw some of these Africans who are disillusioned about who they are, who for some reason they can't look in the mirror and decipher what they see, but they want us to believe the things that they think, which makes absolutely no sense. Because if you can't look in the mirror and see that you are a Black African from West Africa, then I can't trust anything that you got to say at all. Okay? But when you see images like this, right? All you see is Africa. You don't know, if you didn't know these two famous actors, you wouldn't know nothing. You're like, oh man, they spent a lot of money on this movie, right? Now, they may take creative liberties with the story. That's what they do with all stories. You got to make it entertaining. You got to get people to come out to the theater and buy the super overly expensive popcorn and drinks and stuff that costs more than a movie. You got to do that. But it's the truth that's inside the story, our story. Because like I said, when do we stop being Africans and became an American. First, when did we become an American? Because last time I checked, we still ain't really American, are we? As you can see in today's environment, we've not been accepted as an American. The only time a black person accepted as being an American was when that black person seems to be a threat to the white power structure. And all of a sudden, oh, no. You're American. Yeah, you're one of us. We're cool. We're in simpatico, right? But there's a big chunk of our history that we don't know. You see, I know a lot of it because I'm a historian. That's what I do. But everybody's not a historian. Everybody's not cracking open books. Everybody's not looking at documentaries. Everybody's not doing that. So the only way to get this information in people's heads is to put it in an entertaining fashion, because that's people like to be entertained. That's human nature. We like to be entertained. Now, let me tell you what this movie's gonna do. All right. See, what Black Panther did was expose the fact that there was a market, which it was always a market. It's just that they didn't want to know it was a market. They don't want to empower this market. This is not a market they want to empower this way. But here's the thing. Money talks, bullshit walks. Because the people that got the money don't care about this stuff. Because they like this. Hey, we made money off them a couple hundred years ago. We're gonna make a few monies making these films. We don't care. We're gonna make this money making these films. Because it's all about the market. The market dictates everything. Them rich, super rich white folk at the top, they don't care about them other white folk. That's the part y'all don't understand. There's no unity amongst white people. I don't know if you guys ain't paying attention, but white people has never been unified. They don't go under the moniker white people. That's an American thing. White people is a club of Americans who decided to throw away their traditional culture and all that stuff for a superior force, like the Nazis. They came up with their own name and all that stuff. White people, they came up with their own name in the 1600s. That's brand new. Before that, every white person was a part of a clan or tribe, had a separate culture, separate religion, separate ways of thinking, separate ways of living, and they did not and do not and still do not get along with each other now, and they probably won't in the future. But you don't know that, because everything you were taught is that they're unified. They had a couple wars, that they glorified with King Arthur, who didn't exist, but you probably don't even know that King Arthur is a fictional character. If you notice, most of the history is wrapped in mythology and things like that, and they try to make it seem like it's real, but it's not. They never really clarify because they don't have a lot of history to go on, so they keep regurgitating the same crap. But Africa, we have a lot of history. All of our stories need to be told, and it's being told now. In this movie, everybody's gonna come out. See, Black Panther made people come out in their dashikis, right? And they saw that power, that black power, that black economic power, that enthusiasm, that thirst, that hunger, that need, that want, inherently for African Americans to know who they are, and they want to know their stories. They want to desperately. We're starving to know our stories, despite the xenophobic rhetoric that you hear for some of these disillusioned old freaking former protesters, and they didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get what they wanted back in the day. All right. They didn't get what they wanted back in the day. Now they're coming out to try to fight again their last big hoorah, right? But they're doing it the wrong way. They're isolating themselves from the greater body of who we are, which makes us great, which is our Africanness. So someone tell me, please, again, I keep asking the question, but nobody answers it. At which century did we stop being African and start being American? Because last time I checked, slavery stopped, what, in 1800s? So in 1865 or 1864, did we stop being African and start being American? Did we stop? When did we stop being black? You see, everybody else wants what we want but us. That's the thing that boggles my mind. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Everybody else wants what we want. Everybody else is seeking what we have already. Everybody else worships and adores us in some form or fashion, whether it be hate, like people hate LeBron James because they can't be LeBron James, right? Because he's so great and awesome and he did it the right way, right? People hate that because they can't be that and they wish they can be that, right? We have a lot of that. It's because most haters are just irresponsible fans. That's what they are. They're people who admire you, but they, emotionally, they don't know how to handle those things. So they become haters because they can't have what you have. They can't do what you do, right? And that's where haters come from. They once loved you. Now they love and hate you at the same time. Everybody loves and hates us at the same time. Why? Because they want what we want. And they didn't really win, if you think about it. In the grand scheme of things, they grabbed the whole lot of us and brought us to this new America. They brought us to these new places. The Arabs, they did the same thing. There was a time in our history where we were taken advantage of for a good 1,500 years. All right, we allowed it to happen. We Africans being who we are, being sometimes being what do you call it? I don't know what the word for it, but us Africans, we did it to ourselves because we're the ones who chose to allow this. We let it happen. Greedy people lets the snakes in the house. Okay, and that's what happened. The greedy Africans let the snakes in the house, and it took advantage of us. All right, but this is one of the stories that when we go to the movie theaters, we all gonna be dressed up. All right, and not fake little Chinese made dashikis, but the good stuff. Okay, I know I will be. I'm going to the theater to see this movie. I'm going to wear my most African Nigerianist outfit. I'm telling you, I'm showing out that day, and I'm going to the theater. I'm putting on my beads. I'm putting on everything. I might even sneak me in some pounded yam and some shit. They better make a special for that day. No bull. They better make a special for that day. All right, they better start serving some African food. Somebody better have a daggone food cart out there selling some fufu, hey, you can get the black eyed peas, and the beans and rice and the hot sauce. That's the same as all African food anyway. Get all that out there. I need all of that because this is going to be exciting. And I know a lot of people going to leave this theater. They're going to be amped up and they're going to be thirsty for more because that's just one story. There are thousands of stories of resistance. There are thousands of stories of kings, queens, and various other chiefs and warriors fighting back against the Europeans. You think they just went in there and rolled in there and just did what they wanted to do like we was some suckers or something? We ain't never been solved. So you talking about out of a massive continent, they grabbed a few million, okay, that sounds like a lot. Maybe they got 100 million. We don't know what the numbers are, but let's say they grabbed 100 million. That ain't nothing in the grand scheme of things of how big and how populated Africa was, if that's the case. They took the chip off the block, and look what that chip off the block did. That chip off the block became African Americans, became Caribbeans, became Afro Latinos, became African Brazilians. All right, and look what we did with the world. Look what that chip off the block did for the rest of the world. It made the whole world come up without that chip off the block. Now we're gonna get that chip back and put it back on our block. And then one of the most important things for that to happen is for our stories to be told when we were African. And we still African, but when we knew we were African. And once we start to realize we are African, once we start to realize our stories, start to have some pride in our situation, start to have some pride in the process, and then we can start looking deep into ourselves and see who we are as people and start holding our heads a little higher. Start demanding more respect from people. Start demanding that we get treated with respect by everybody around the world. The same way Africa is doing right now. You see a lot of people's not paying attention to it because, like I said, people don't watch the news. They don't know what's going on until you get a big highlight breaking news on the TV that you can't avoid, and you know what's going on. But you don't know what goes on in the day-to-day politics of Africa unless you're looking for it. You don't know the day-to-day politics what's happening in various countries. All 55 countries in Africa. 55, guys. There's 55. I think it might be more. It might be more. Because there's some that's not like that hasn't been recognized by some European organization. All right, because there's Europeans who would just say your country doesn't even exist. That's how much power they think they have. That's how much power that they think they have. They think they rule the world by default. They've been allowed to dream and believe and been told that they rule the world inherently. So that leaves their offspring up shit's creek without a paddle when they find out, oh, guess what? You guys don't actually run the world anymore. Your grandfathers, your grandfathers did that. Your great grandfathers did that, but not you guys. You guys are just living off that same old milk and honey that your grandfathers done built up for you. But that shit getting rotten now. And we coming for that honey because that don't rot. You see what I'm saying? So this movie got me amped. I'm ready to go. Look, I'm telling you right now. The white person that goes to the movie theater with their black friends to go see this movie, I praise them because it's going to be a hostile environment. I'm telling you. I praise all the people that went out to make this movie, to bring this story to life, because it got to be hard to be a European who knows the story or learning about the story, what it is their forefathers did. I'm talking about the good European. They all ain't bad. I keep trying to say that. This ain't all black people versus all white people. This is all black people versus all evil and white supremacist white people. That's what it is about. The rest of them who want to be humanist and they want to live a decent life and they respect other people, those guys are fine. I commend the ones who go and do movies like this where they have to portray themselves in a certain light that sometimes they're not going to be able to rub off, but they do it for the greater good when they get typecast into these positions. I praise all the African American, Afro Brazilian, and African British, and all the international black actors that came out to make this movie. And I praise all the continental Africans that's in this movie, that's brave enough to make this movie, that be a part of something great, because this is Pan-Africanism right here. This is straight Pan-Africanism at work. This is all Pan-Africanism right here. All of it. This is what Pan-Africanism looks like. All right. I don't know what FBA looks like. All right. But here's the thing. FBA, they're gonna come out to see this movie. They're gonna be real African that day. Watch the mood of some of these FBA people who thought it was cool to jump on the xenophobic FBA bandwagon, ADOS bandwagon. Watch them slip into the movie theater with their dashikis with the rest of us Pan-Africans. Watch them. They better not make no movies. I don't want to hear nothing. They're gonna sit there. They're gonna try to criticize the movie. They're gonna say, "Well, this didn't happen. That didn't happen." Well, that's what happens with movies. Every single movie happens. Every single movie does, and it's fine as long as the baseline of the story is real. As long as the baseline of what we need to learn, or we're learning it. And as long as it makes our children curious to open up a book. Because see, when they see the movie, then they're gonna go find the book. They want to know, what character is this? Who's that belong to? What's that name? I need to look that person up. And then when Halloween comes around, instead of wearing those European costumes, we be wearing our own costumes. Huh? And then when talent shows come around, instead of wearing European costumes, we be wearing our own costumes. Huh? Start having some African pride about ourselves. How about that? Start praising our beautiful clothes. We praise the Japanese beautiful clothes all the time, but the Yoruba been wearing the same exact type of clothes way longer than the Japanese. Beautiful, exotic colors. Huh? The Igbos been wearing, look, have you seen the Igbos dress? Have you seen Akan? Have you seen Ghana? Have you seen the way we dress with our beautiful elaborate colors? We've been doing that. Stop calling our elaborate color schemes ghetto. No, that's African. When it comes to color, we know what to do with color. You understand? So we need to start creating our own racial self-esteem, getting that back. And the first thing, one of the first most important things is for us to tell our own stories. That's all I got to say for now, guys. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach them. I'm out. You're listening to DJ Afro Think Tank. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.